Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. Obviously, I wanted to talk about the big James Harden Ben Simmons trade. Um, Man, this one really shocked me today because, obviously we had heard rumors of it, but I honestly thought it was mostly talk. It was one of those things that I think James Harden wasn't very happy, and obviously Philly's trying to get rid of Ben Simmons because he hasn't. They're not trying to get rid of him, but he hasn't been playing, so they're trying to get a deal for him where they would get equal value, and I never thought they would. And then Brooklyn, even though James Harden's not happy, I never thought they would actually move on from him, and that he would get so pissed, disgruntled that he would ask to be traded out. And well, it happened. It totally happened today. So it really surprised me. Um, the biggest reason I think it happened was, as I said, Ben Simmons, Philly's trying to get something for him. And then James Harden's got an opt-out clause at the end of the year. And I think he was so disgruntled that he actually kind of raised a little bit of panic in that Brooklyn front office because if he opts out at the end of the year, they lose him for nothing, right? And I don't think, when they traded for James Harden a year ago, they ever thought that would be a possibility, that he would just walk out on him. And he's been so disgruntled lately that I think he said he wanted out and that he would walk out at the end of the year and probably go to Philly anyways. So either you can get something from me now or I'll leave at the end of the year. And I think that was, I think that's what really brought urgency on the Nets side of the equation to make this deal happen. Because I think Philly always had urgency to trade Ben Simmons. They just don't want to trade him for a bag of popcorn. But Ben Simmons, like, wants no part of Philadelphia anymore. Like, literally, the guy's been sitting for $20 million. Like, he's bypassed $20 million. And I know these guys are super rich, but that's still a lot of money. $20 million because he'd rather not play for that organization. He was so disgruntled after that playoffs and how he got blamed for everything. So this deal happens. I think it surprised the NBA world, and I honestly, it's hard for me to find a winner. Like, I think if you look at the trade just purely on value, I think Brooklyn got the better end of the deal because they got the younger player. They got Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and then 2 first-round picks for a guy who, has got a bad hammy. Um, he's a lot of baggage psychologically. I think Harden's had a lot of playoff mishaps. So overall I love James Harden's game, but he always seems to come up short in the biggest moments. So I've never been a huge James Harden. I've always thought he was a little bit overrated. Um, I think now that he's not getting all those calls because they switched the rules on the 3 point line, I think it's having an impact on him too. So there's a lot to be worried about, James Harden. And so from the Brooklyn side of things, like, they're tired of it. I think they're tired of the attitude, and they also want to make sure, like I said, they were going to get something for him in case he walks out. And when you get Ben Simmons, you get a guy who's a very good facilitator, but he's also a really good defensive player, and he brings a lot more size to that lineup. Not only that, but when you're playing with Kyrie and Durant, you don't. It's okay if one guy can't shoot. That's Ben Simmons' weakness is he can't shoot. And I doubt that's changed. I know he's staying a counselor or whatever, but I don't think that might help his mental side of things, but to be a little bit mentally tougher and resist critiques a little better. But I don't think it's going to help his jump shot. So so I think Ben Simmons is kind of locked into this thing where um, he's going to be the facilitator for Durant and Irving. And those two guys are going to play off the ball. And I think it's fine because those two guys are great shooters. Then you got Harris, you got Patty Mills, you got Seth Curry, and then you got Andre Drummond coming off the bench bringing size. You got those 2 first-round picks that you can maybe this offseason trade into something or at some point get value back for it. So I think for Brooklyn, it's a great deal. I think they really need to get better defensively and also just long-term wise. You got a way younger player, 26-year-old, 26, 27-year-old. I just think he's the perfect combination. And I think Ben Simmons is going to help with, the guarding the Joel Embiids, guarding the Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bam Adebayos of the world. So I think it's just a great deal. I think for Brooklyn. Obviously, it's sad to move on from a guy like James Harden because I think he's a great player, and with Durant and Irving, it would have been. I think it would have been great. And I think they only played 16 games together. I heard that stat today, and I mean that's just nuts. Like they only played 16 games in 2 years, and I think if those guys would have been on the court, it would have been magic. But whether it was injuries or Kyrie Irving not getting vaccinated, or you know Durant's injuries, like they just haven't played much. And I think Brooklyn's also betting that the mandates are going to maybe be a little bit loosened up in New York City, so Kyrie will be able to play by playoff time. So we'll see. Um, but so all in all, I think Brooklyn, you know, is still a contender in the East. I think there's four teams in the East, and that's why this trade is awesome. Is because it makes the East more exciting. You got Miami, you got Brooklyn, you got Milwaukee, and you got Philly. And I would throw in Toronto and Chicago in there as outsiders. I think Toronto is really coming along. They're a little young, but inexperienced, but they got talent. But anyways, so that's the Brooklyn side of thing, and I think they're probably my second favorite behind Milwaukee. I still like Milwaukee more just because they won last year, and I don't see why they haven't gotten worse in my opinion. So, but I think they could beat Milwaukee. The chemistry is going to be an issue because there's not a lot of time. You wonder when Ben Simmons comes back, how long that's going to take. But it should be fairly quick. I mean, he's healthy, he's in good shape. I think it's more the mental aspect with him, and I think just the change of scenery is exactly what he needed. So I'm really excited about it for Brooklyn. So I think in terms of value, like I said, I think Brooklyn got the better value. Now for Philly, I think they gave up too much. If you were going to look at just pure value, they gave up too much. But on the other hand, it's like they needed to make this deal and I think Daryl Morey knew that. My problem is that James Harden, we'll see who he is. We'll see if he's still the James Harden that Daryl Morey had in Houston, right? Putting up 30 plus points a game, and I mean that pick and roll with Joel Embiid is just going to be unreal, right? Because they can both shoot, they can both drive. It's going to be magical, and they still got Tyrell Maxey, they still got Danny Green, they still got Tobias Harris, they still got Matisse Thybulle, they still got Shake Milton. So, I mean, they're loaded. They're absolutely loaded. So this is a great deal because, instead of having Ben Simmons sitting on the bench doing nothing, now you got potentially one of the best, at one point considered an MVP candidate, top 5 player in the league. Now he's probably just seen as a top 10 if that. But the big question for Harden is mentally, when things get tough, is he going to stay committed? And then, because I mean, again, that's his third team. Like I said earlier, that's his third team in 2 years. If something goes wrong, he doesn't like things, he tends to quit. And so that's something that kind of worries me. If I was an owner, I'd be worried about it, especially if you have to sign him to a big time extension. He's a guy who's 32. He seems like he's getting a lot of injuries too, like hamstring muscle stuff, and that, he might be getting older. So yeah, I think that's concerning. And, he needs to have a big playoff. James Harden's never really had a huge playoff where, to cement his legacy. And I think this is the year he needs to have it. Either this year, next. I mean, he doesn't have too many more years or he can do it. So, is Philly a contender? Yeah. Are they my pick in these? Yeah. I mean, I said I like Milwaukee and Brooklyn better. And Miami, again, is going to be interesting, but yeah, I'd probably have Philly third. I mean, Joel Embiid's playing out of his mind, and seeing that pick and roll with Harden is going to be pretty special. They still got a lot of shooters around, even though they lost some, right, with Seth Curry. I think that's the part that hurts with that deal, I think, is Seth Curry. If somehow they could have hung on to Seth Curry, that would have been great. I know he's not good defensively, but man, just he just lights out shooting. But without Ben Simmons in the lineup, I mean, pretty much every player on Philly can shoot. They don't have. I can't think of great shooters that Philly has, but they can all. I mean, Tobias Harris can shoot. Maxey can shoot. Embiid can shoot. Obviously, Harden can shoot. So they can all shoot. But the question is, I think defensively they got a little bit worse without Ben Simmons from last year. Now, obviously, he hasn't played this year. So, but offensively they got a lot better. And also James Harden plays no defense, so that's going to be an issue. But yeah, offensively they look great. They look great. So, anyways, to recap, I think overall Brooklyn got the better end pure value wise of the deal. But in terms of for each team's position, it was a win-win, and it makes the East just that much more interesting this year. So, I mean, just crazy trade, and like there's always freaking drama in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love about the NBA. It's like a reality TV show. So, anyways, yeah, exciting trade deadline. I wasn't disappointed. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting how these moves shake up in the months ahead and playoffs coming along. So, stay tuned because I'm definitely gonna come out with more videos as all that stuff gets exciting. And Sunday, as you guys know, Super Bowl. So we'll see. If I'm definitely gonna watch it, and it's gonna be exciting. So, anyways, stay tuned, and you guys have a great end of your week. Bye bye.